Hey everyone, welcome to today's A360. My name is Brewster Knowlton, and today we're going to be talking about why your analytics program requires a top-down approach. When I say that analytics requires a top-down approach, I mean that you have to focus first strategically and from a higher picture before you start focusing only on the operational, the technology, and some of the tactical components that analytics requires. This involved asking questions like, what are our KPIs? Do our KPIs align with our business strategy, and do we need to adapt those KPIs? Once you have some of those questions and have an idea of where you want to go, then you can start to build an analytics program. I use this analogy a lot in some presentations when organizations start with a bottom-up approach. That's kind of like going to a construction site, a general contractor's work site, and say you want to build a house. And they say, okay, so they bring you out back and they say, this is what wood we have, this is what nails we have, these are our tiles, and so on. What house do you want to build? Nobody would ever build a house like that, right? They'd first build a blueprint of what they want to build and then figure out the materials that they need. That's why we have to start with the top-down approach. We have to figure out what our blueprint is before we start to figure out what we need to do to actually make that vision a reality. Start by understanding how your business users are using the data. What data do they need? What data do they want? What data would they like to have but can't get? All of those answers, all of those questions that you can get at help you understand that big picture. It helps you create that blueprint for how your organization can and should be using analytics in the future. Take time to understand the business processes. People forget that the business processes and the front-end procedures and all the ways that users and members or customers are interacting with your systems, those processes dictate how data is going to flow throughout your various applications. So you have to understand the entire set of processes that compose all of the systems that drive the flow of data if you want to have any real picture. So this is why I encourage you to spend time with discovery. Sit down and interview members of every department throughout your organization to understand how they're using data, how they're using the systems, and all of those ancillary aspects that go along with it. If you can do all that, you'll have a complete picture of the processes, the data, and the applications that are used throughout your business. This will provide you an opportunity to have a blueprint built and then figure out how to accomplish the result of that blueprint, as opposed to starting with simply saying, this is what we have, what can we do with it? You can take the approach where you're going to figure out what you want to build in the future, what you want this analytics idea to become, and then you figure out how to build it. That is why analytics requires a top-down approach, and that's how to tackle analytics from a top-down perspective. That's it for today. Thanks again for listening to today's A360.